ready?
This is Nicole. Welcome to Beyond the Grind.
Let's talk about it.
So, I was having some discussions with a couple of ladies in my group, my friend group, and we were talking about like a bunch of stuff, and they were saying, at what point is not sharing your secrets dishonest?
Wow, that's a deep question.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So I want to ask from a man's perspective.
yes.
Because of course we all had opinions. From a man's perspective.
Because words matter.
Words do matter.
When you talk about, let's take a few steps back so we can walk them all forward together.
Okay.
When you talk about sharing secrets, it has to be like defined, because there's many different secrets that some things somebody should hold on to. So I can't even construe it to be a secret. It's something that's internal and personal that just shouldn't go anywhere.
Okay. So I guess more so not so much anybody else's secrets, but at what point I'll change the question.
Yes.
At what point is not sharing your past experiences considered dishonest?
Well, again.
Okay, so there's a fine line. Yes, there is a line of things that happen, and it's almost like, when God's working on you, he's working on you under here. And sometimes he doesn't reveal that cloth.
Right.
Because that's grace that covered you. So it's like, all right, got that lesson. I don't need to let the world know. God got it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying, at what point in a relationship with someone,
yes,
do you find like, all right, now I'm teetering dishonesty? So I'll give you the question that was asked. Is it when it's asked of you? Or is the omitting of never saying it like a form of dishonesty? Like, what if the person never came out and asked?
Right.
But I don't know. I'm trying to give an example without giving too much. So, let's say a person in the past could have got some type of STD.
Oh wow!
And we had to go heavier.
Jeez.
Beyond the grind, right?
Praise God.
All never puns been intended.
Sheesh.
So let's say it's something that you could heal from. You go to the doctor and get a little poppy pill or ointment. I don't know. I don't know that journey. Nothing wrong with anyone who does. But I'm just giving the idea of what I think would happen.
Yeah.
So let's say you are with like your partner that you choose to life with, right?
Mm-hmm.
At what point is not sharing that dishonest?
Well, I mean, I think that should be up front.
Should that be up front if it was in the past you got healed?
Well, you see, because words matter. You just said someone that you plan to share your life with.
Yeah.
So the word plan is long-term, longevity.
Yeah.
So because words matter, and based on the way you just said it, that should be something that should be shared like up front. I think similar to the same way how you attend your first day of class.
Okay.
As soon as you walk in the classroom, before the teacher starts teaching, what do?
But they ask for your name and some information about you.
Right, and then they give you the instructions on how they expect the class to run.
Class rules.
Mm-hmm.
And
they set the rules, and then they give you the syllabus and everything like that. So I think in a situation like this, it should be shared up front, especially if it's something that can affect the other person.
At what point up front? Because if you think about it, like, let's say, for instance...
Well, if you just like, if you like dating or something like that, that's different. But before you get in a position where what you do could affect the other person, like, you should be telling them.
Okay, so it's the point of your secrets, right? Let's get into this. So the point of the secret that you're not sharing, which can teeter on the line of dishonesty, is it when whatever you're having can affect them, or...
Well, let's talk about the dishonesty part. And again, like, I don't have any experience or history with this. So like you always say, I'm not like an expert in this field or
exactly
anything, but I'm big on like words, as you know.
Yeah.
Because words completely matter.
Yeah.
So when you say dishonesty, that person wasn't dishonest yet. Like, how were they dishonest when they were never asked a question?
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you cannot have a question asked. like someone come out and be like, hey, this is what I'm asking you, but there is a tone that can be set of dishonesty, of you just not sharing information that potentially could make, like, you get what I'm saying?
No,
like,
I do. I
so
understand.
that's the question. At what point is it dishonest, or is it a thing it's not dishonest, but
Right.
it's a little, is it like falling in the gray area? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's kind of like, let's flip to another example.
Okay.
Say you get married,
Mm-hmm.
but you never tell your husband or your significant other that you were engaged before.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a dishonest thing? Or say a scenario where a woman was pregnant before, and then they lost the baby, and then they got somebody new, and then they had the baby, but they never told the old person or the new person that they had a baby before, or they lost the baby. Is that being dishonest? So when you talk about these secret things, it's like,
It depends.
well, the word depends matters.
It does, because it depends on how it affects that person. Like, so the pregnancy thing,
Mm-hmm.
how did we lose abortion? Everyone knows that abortions can actually affect the woman's body. So if I'm planning a future
Mm-hmm.
and we want to have children, and we're finding out like, wow, maybe in that abortion something didn't go right, and now my body is affected.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be dishonest, because it may be an interruption in the plan that we had for us.
So you think it would be dishonest
Mm-hmm.
for that type of scenario to occur? I want to understand.
I think it depends, because it's okay. So it's almost like
this is a unique thought, because
it is a unique. It's so layered.
Yeah,
it's very layered,
and it's a situation where like the people matter too, like the players, right?
All the players.
Because if you got in that scenario where we just used, where the woman had somebody else, she was dating somebody else before, she got pregnant, they lost the baby, life continued to life, then they separated, then she got this new person, and then she got pregnant by this new person, and she never told the new person that she lost the baby through the previous thing, but the new person was just so excited and happy that he never even knew. It's like, okay, well, what if it mattered to him that his child was the first one, and she never told him that she lost that first
what
one?
If the burden of you sharing that now affected you took away, like selfishly took away the experience that person's having, because you just dumped, hey, you not the first one,
right? So should some things, I guess the regurgitating of this question, or let me mix it up, is like, should some of those things stay buried? Like, is it a need for it to be brought out? Is my question. Like, should some things just stay, like Eminem said, well, he cleaned out his closet, but
cleaning up a closet.
But should some things stay
in the closet?
In the closet, in the earth, buried in the coffin, however you want to say it. Especially when it could impact the other person.
Okay, so I'm gonna give both answers to that. I do think it depends on the motive. So if I'm doing this because it's like, oh my gosh, I just need to get this guilt off of me, and it's just, oh, it's gonna make me feel better.
Right.
I feel like that's selfishly motivated, because I'm not even thinking about me just ridding myself of all these thoughts and things on how it could affect you. One point. The second point is, it honestly, I really think it depends on what the situation is.
Right.
Because sometimes, what if the thing only took place in your mind, right? What if like it wasn't like an action? So I got to tell you, I'll say this: the person who I 100% need to be transparent with and to is God.
Yes.
Because He already knows.
Well, you said something.
And myself. What?
You said the thing only happens in the mind.
I say it depends.
Yeah, see, you use a lot of key words, but like I'm a listener to these things. So like when you talk about, so like when you're saying like something like happens in their mind, so they might have not took a physical action or did anything. So what is you're essentially opening up the scab to something for no reason, when in essence every human on the earth is going to be flawed since the beginning of time, because
agree.
the originators that were first here were flawed. So a person is going to have flaws and imperfections. All people are. They're going to have thoughts. They're going to do things. They're going to make wrong decisions. I was reading a quote the other day. They said, if you didn't make a bad decision or do something wrong, you never started living. So all of these things are going to happen. So I think in cases like that, I don't think you should. I don't want to. You're using the word like and I don't remember the words you just used, but you were. It's essentially like hidden, right? You're
Yeah,
like
yeah.
It's not so much hidden, but it's something that should stay internal between you and God. If it was an act in the mind,
I agree with that, and that's why I said, like, even with I think when with the question that was asked, if you're coming into a situation where
somebody asked a good question,
yeah, where let's say you've been like a serial dater,
right?
We'll say that because it's a family friendly show. So you've been why are you laughing? You've been a serial dater,
right?
I don't feel though like the person who I'm choosing to spend my life with, I don't feel like I have to tell you, like, if I've dated, over 30 people or 50 people, right?
Yeah.
Unless it's a thing of like we entering a room and I don't want you looking stupid. I'm like, oh, hey, I dated that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. That's different, right? It doesn't mean that I'm lying.
Right.
But I don't feel as though you sometimes have to give your resume because I don't know. I don't know what the benefit of that would be. We were like, the topic took so many twists and turns because it's like, what about financially? Let's say you were before you met, I don't want to give an example of you, but let's say there was a person like you, and before you met your person, let's say you dealt with bankruptcy, right? And you got it all. You're clear. You're not even in it anymore. Like you handle all your affairs, and then now you're building this life with a person. It's like it never comes up, so you haven't lied.
Yeah, I heard about that a lot.
When is it dishonest for you not saying like, hey, I need to sit down and talk to you? Because I never lied because we never talked about it. Like it never we never had an opportunity to talk about credit or whatever.
So you basically saying it should be like a checklist, so to speak.
Yeah, but sometimes you don't know what are the right questions to ask. But if they don't come up, but it's like, and that's where the question came up. It's like, if you are just sometimes when you're dating a person, like there's certain things that you don't encounter within your relationship for you to even know, like, okay, this is how you're going to respond,
right?
Whatever. So it's more so a thing of like, okay, at what point in a relationship is it dishonest for it not being shared that this was a part of my experiences? Or is it ever technically dishonest? Or is it a thing of they just didn't do their homework? You know what I'm saying? When's this? Yeah, so.
No, I mean, I don't think this is like a yes or a no, or will, because I'm not an expert on this, but I'm just giving it from like my opinion and hearing the overall question. I'm thinking like multiple things. So I'm thinking of when we started the conversation, you used the word plan, right?
Yeah.
So plan is, strategic and lengthy. It's something that occurs over time. So I think at some point when you have made the commitment to continue to like plan and start a life with somebody, it's got to be a conversation where you have like a sit down, be it like lunch, dinner, or something. Like, okay, here's the plans. Like, for example, everybody that's in a relationship or married or something, you've had this conversation. Like, all right, you had a plan. Like, all right, like how many kids do you want to have? Some people break up from the very beginning because
they never had that discussion. Like, I want to have kids and you don't.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So, that's why I still go back to like my thoughts. I think it should be talked to up front when you plan that you want to continuously have a relationship with this person. Because it's important to know, like, okay, you may have worked your whole life to build your credit, and as we all know, like credit is more valuable than cash in today's world. And you're dating somebody, they might not have good credit, so it's like there's ways that you can help build their credit. You can put them on as a authorized user, and then over time, all these different things. But if you don't isolate and identify, and we don't have this conversation, and you let me know, I can't put my hand over the fence to help pull you up or give you the strategies and tactics that I've learned over the years that can put you on the same level, so that when we get in a position where opportunity presents itself, we need to buy things, make investment for our kids and family in the future, then it's not going to work.
So I have a question for you. So let's say you're in a situation where they didn't have to lie because it was never asked.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say you find out that, like, I'm trying to think of, I don't know, what, give me something. Well, no, you don't want to tell the world what would bother you. But let's say,
oh, you what would bother me?
Yeah.
What? So like, I don't want to say it would like bother me, but I could think of examples just from this whole global conversation. Like when you're starting out, with somebody, because that's where there's this path is walking. It's like, okay, I met somebody, I really like this person, and what things are important for us to talk about, so I can determine if this is a person I want to move forward in the future with.
Yeah.
So like, like financials, like yes, it really matters, so we can determine like, how are we meeting
building
up?
Life.
Yeah, what's our future plan? Like, what things do you like? Again, as you know, like for me, it's not a barter on like money, but your significant other, you should be able to barter with knowledge. So, like for example, if you're a nurse or you're an expert in like healthcare, something like that, okay, then you're gonna bring value with that for our family. And if I'm an expert in engineering, let me work on that path, and then let's see how we can combine them, but also create revenue opportunities within using our skills together or separately. But let's financially grow.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is, for me, when it comes to the unisons of like growth. So when you talk about like, I love to fish. My significant other doesn't fish, but because I do, then now she does. So it's a position where like, even if somebody's lacking in one area, like there's strengths in other areas that we can help each other build upon. All in all, I would want to know like those things. I also would want to know, like, obviously, like you talked about from the beginning, like if there's something that can affect my health.
But it won't affect your health because they're healed. Remember, the doctor gave them medicine.
Well. Yeah, you talking about like magic? Magic made it.
No, okay.
Kanye West said you can live through anything if magic made
that stuff you can't shake off. That still stay with you. No, I'm talking about like the stuff that like little pill bottle will take away, some ointment, like maybe that. nothing that sticks around. But here's another one. So I was watching.
Oh Lord.
I had watched the show a while ago.
They giving them shots.
And no, so what happened was that they were going to be dating, and it came out that they were dating. I'm sorry, they were thinking about getting married, or they were engaged, and it came out that she had, surrogacy is big, so she had she sold some of her eggs. Is that something that, like, let's say you're in you've been in your relationship for a while?
Yeah.
It technically doesn't affect your health. When you sell your eggs, technically they're not yours anymore, right?
Well, here's the thing.
So would that bother you?
No.
If it never came up, and then she goes like, you know what? There's probably gonna be someone out there that looks like me because about 4 years ago, or a couple years before I met you, I sold some of my eggs.
Well, I'm gonna respond to this, but then you just brought a thought to my mind about another scenario.
Okay.
So, as I learned from you, because I kind of had to key in on this word because you consistently say it throughout all the stuff we talk about, like motive. So, like, to me, no, like, if the motive was like, if we were struggling financially and your motive was, hey, there's two benefits from this. One, somebody that's getting these eggs, they continuously tried to have a baby, they couldn't have it, and by me doing this, it's helping them have life.
Okay.
And in addition to that, I'm also getting a financial benefit, which will essentially help the household.
This was before you. They did this all before you.
I still wouldn't be mad because the motive would, like, whatever they did it for, like,
it was to progress.
Yeah, and it's also understanding the woman. Like, you guys are sacred when it comes to your bodies. So if you're doing something, you're doing it like for a purpose. Now, the thought came in when you was given that scenario about, especially in today's day and age. Say, for example, you always do
because I can tell where you're going. Yeah. Go ahead. You're going to try to challenge me. Go ahead.
No, I'm not challenging you.
Give me in the corner. Nope. I'm ready for it.
Not today.
Okay.
But I'm thinking of this. I'm thinking, because I saw this on TV a couple of times, where somebody was dating somebody, and then they caught the other person, and they found out that the other person was having a relationship with the same sex. Is that something you should tell the person up front?
Yes. So I do think that's something that you should probably share with the person who you're going to build your life with. Mainly, one of the reasons why is, what if y'all both have two different values and principles when it comes to that? I think it's important to talk about values and principles
up front.
Up front, that's important, right? Additionally, I think that I don't want to say it's a competition because I'm in a league of my own, right? But I need to know if, like, we are swayed by all different, like, just all humans at this point,
right?
Like, it is all humans get your fancy going. Like, I think that's something I should know, because what if what if eventually it comes up as a kink that I can never fulfill, and then you're going to step out anyway, right? And I do believe in giving people the choice. So anything anything that comes under the realm of what you've done sexually, I think that that's something that you should share with your partner, only because I think that's a big topic within relationships that need to be discussed anyway. Because if you're going to have a functioning relationship, that's going to be an element of it, unless there's like some type of health reason or whatever,
right?
Where you might want to keep talking about those things. So yeah, I would like to know if you like playing for the same team, at some point in your life, because I don't have me on the street looking stupid. Don't catch me out. Like, I need to know these things so I can choose on how to handle myself. Because what if you were the receiver and then I'm up here like, yeah, my man's a madman, and he was just throwing it back. So I would need to. I really think that that's important to share. But more importantly, we could have, like, we got to be aligned. We equally yoked on that. You gotta share that. I do even think when it comes to the woman, if she sold her eggs before or something, or like if the man was a sperm donor,
right?
I do think that that's something that you should share with a person that you are building life with.
And they did it before you.
Even if they did it before you. And I'm not saying share it in a sense of like I'm confessing to you,
right?
Because I'm not sharing it for technically your feedback. It was done is done.
Right.
I'm just sharing it so, like, this is information that when you think of I'm sharing my life with someone, there should be a freedom, right?
Yes.
And a vulnerability that you have.
I agree.
With sharing things that are almost scary to share. So when it comes to my past, would I do things differently? Yeah, but I shared everything. That was probably dumb. Like,
no, I don't.
I say that because it was like I just told it all, and it's like God was like, you didn't have to do all that. Like, girl, you're good. But I guess I always felt as though I would never want someone to feel like, oh, you didn't tell me, or I don't ever. Maybe it's always a game. I don't want someone telling me, like, I don't want someone telling the person I love something about me when it should have came from me.
Right.
Because their motive is never going to be as pure as it coming from me. So I didn't want that to happen. But
well, it's two things.
Yeah.
One is I think, and this is an assumption.
Okay.
I think that, like you use the word, it is scary. So say everything is going good. Like you watch this show, The Bachelor, right?
Yeah.
Which is TV. Television.
Television.
That's it.
Yeah.
So they supposedly fall in love so quick and all these different things, but they haven't had these talks. And again, this is an assumption. So if everything is going well, like you just said, people get afraid. If I was in a new relationship and everything was going well, and just say my credit was bad, but I hear her consistently say, "Oh, my credit's really good, dog. But I want to go forward."
Mm-hmm.
Would it not be selfish of me to not say nothing
It is
at all?
100% selfish.
But then you risk losing.
That's selfish, though.
So say now let's flip the two. So say the guy meets a girl,
Okay.
and the girl didn't tell him that she has a girlfriend,
Mm-hmm.
and everything is going good,
Okay.
and she consistently keeps the secret from him,
Mm-hmm.
and then eventually
She has or had.
No, she still has. She's involved with both.
Oh, well, you're cheating.
Well, how's it cheating? They're still dating. They're not married or nothing like that. They're still just dating.
Are they exclusively dating, or we're just getting to know each other?
Well, my perception of the conversation is because the question is like, when do you tell the person?
Oh yeah, okay.
See what I'm saying? Like,
okay.
When do you tell them anything? So like, all right,
something like that would tell you off the bat. Like when
that's
production. He can you hear your voice, but when I first started
dating, on his notes.
When I first started dating him, maybe I'm just too transparent because it was like I'm very open. I'm gonna tell you what it is because I'm gonna kind of rip the Band-Aid off early. If we gonna rip it, just rip it off early, and then we can move forward.
Now here's my question to that.
All right.
If the wound was covered and already healing, what was the point of opening up the scab for no reason?
There shouldn't be a wound because we're just starting off.
Well, you said rip the Band-Aid off.
Oh, you're right. So I use that analogy of with the way instead of saying rip the Band-Aid off,
yes,
I'm gonna jump into the pool.
Mm-hmm.
So you know how some people like
they just putting their foot in and all that.
They dip it. Like, oh, it's cold. I have to get used to it.
Yeah.
No, Nicole's gonna just run and just submerge.
You diving in.
Like I'm submerging because I'm like it's gonna happen eventually. I'd rather. I don't want to say it's controlling, but I'd rather be the driver in the seat to control when it happens.
Now, here's the question.
That way, I'm not wasting my time.
Because I understand.
We're gonna, and maybe I value my life in saying I don't know when it's going to be done. So why waste my time when I don't want to prolong the inevitable? Right. So if I know that this one thing about me is going to make you say, I got to go, well, let's do this early. So now I can say you're not the one, I can just move on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm jumping in. Just get me all wet. I'm going in under the water and I'll bounce back up.
Now, what if, no, what if all of what was said didn't even matter to the person? It didn't even matter. Basically, if anything, now I'm not saying you, but the person themselves was just making themselves feel good by saying this. But to the other person, it didn't even matter. This was something you could have just kept to yourself. They wouldn't even have cared about. Whatever occurred before you even got there, I don't even care about that. All I care about is what I have like right now. It wouldn't matter.
I think that's a beautiful thing. And that's why I say you have to find out what your motive is behind it. Is it like to rid yourself of guilt? I know for mine, it could have been like a pride issue of like, on the off chance you're going to reject me for something that you don't like that I did, I'm going to tell you. And if I think that you're hesitating to reject me, I'm going to reject you first.
Yeah. So you went essentially from what we're talking about. If you look at sports, you play defense for no reason.
Yeah, it's so unhealthy, toxic.
You play defense for no reason.
Yes, but I think sometimes we do that, and that's why it's a fine line of when does it become I'm sharing with you because I want to share my life with you from a line of dishonesty from a thing of insecurities.
Like, no, you said three things, so let's address all.
So I'm addressing each of them, but yeah, so I do think that you should share. Like when you're building life, you should know like, okay, these are some factors that even contribute to the way I'm thinking.
So let's talk about this. So if you're asked, I think it's different. Like, so for example, if you're asked a question and you're planning on building a life with somebody, like, yeah, it could be casual conversation where you answer because it's no point to lie.
Exactly.
But I don't think it should be a situation where it's like, oh, have you ever did this or however many this,
Yeah,
and then
it
you get
should
into
be an
all that, and then
interrogation.
yeah, you know what I mean, and then the next thing you know, it's like, yeah, what you just said, like, oh, now we should just leave each other because we're not. You could have missed like a great opportunity of what something could have been just
Yeah.
because the 23 questions that the man said.
Sweating the small things.
Yeah, but he also said learn when to learn when to shut your mouth.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
That was in there.
mm-hmm.
So it's like some things you have to keep, internal
I
and
agree.
personal. And you could be doing that because you love the other person, and whatever it is that you know about you, you don't want to.
I agree. I don't feel as though, like I said, the only person who should know 100%, let's be honest, is God,
It's
because
God.
who can handle it? He can.
Yes.
Hello. He's strong. I don't think that everybody needs to know 100%. But I do think that there's certain things that are important for you to share with who you're going to share your life with. Because if it affects them,
I agree.
and I'm not even just talking about from an emotional part. Like if I'm physically maybe putting you in any type of harm's way, I think you should know. If I'm financially going to put you, if I'm legally going to put you into some stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like I don't want you to hit me with you never asked.
Right.
Yeah, I thought you were going to work every day, not like on the corner. Like no, like tell me so I know how to move, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was just a deep question of like what it's such a fine line.
It is.
And it kind of like I feel like for each situation there's no right or wrong of when.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when is the right time, and I think it's something that you will only know when you feel comfortable with that person, because of course you don't want to be like, if I'm just getting to know you, I don't know your character, I don't see how you deal with I gotta see how you do with your own issues to even see how you do with mine.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna just tell you like, hey, here's all my deepest, I want to say secrets, but here are the things I'm not so proud of about myself.
Yeah.
And I don't even know your character yet. Because I think continual behavior over time proves.
It's kind of like getting a buyer agency agreement signed when you just met the person, but you don't even know each other yet.
But you know what you can do? A way around that is it can be based off of just the one property. So I'm gonna commit to this one date with you. So that means I'm gonna honestly give you my undivided attention for this one date. I'm not gonna I'm saying you could take me out to the restaurant, and I'm not gonna be flirting with every Tom, Dick, and Harry out here because we're on the date.
Right.
That's like the buyer agency agreement for that one property. And then you can see like, oh, that went well. Let me go take you with another one. Yeah. Oh, okay. And another one.
Well, it's another thing though. I mean, thinking about it, I agree with what you just said. Like, it's about the timing of when you all feel is right.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel like there's by not closing your mouth and by talking too soon and by exposing something that the other person didn't ask for or even care to know, I think you miss so many opportunities of healing, because you said if it's something you're not proud of, but you miss so many opportunities of healing and growth by speaking on it too soon, because the other person could be essentially filling those spaces or whatever you experienced or whatever you did and all that. And you just like, darn, I was doing all this. I never got this. Like, I want to continuously keep getting that. So what's the point of letting this person know, yo, you know what? This is all the stuff that happened before that. It's like, you just keep your mouth closed, enjoy what you got going on, and let's build the Legos from here.
I agree.
I don't even care what happened in the graveyard when you was down there. I'm trying to move with you this way.
And honestly, for me, I'm the person where like everybody's past has contributed to where they are, and I don't ever want to fool myself in thinking that I am God, because that's why we can confess to Him, because He can handle that.
Right.
Certain things, please, I'm fine. Keep it with Him, because I'm only human, and I don't want to look at you sideways like. Now, like if you were like an ex-convict, you got to tell me.
Yeah, I get that. And most of them will tell you like, yo, look, bro, or sis, I got locked up before. Like, yo, they like, I don't,
because that wouldn't deter me.
They would
like,
tell you, yeah.
I mean, I'm married now, but I'm saying like that. Everyone, it depends on what if you were locked up because you were like you're protesting.
Yeah, or you was like Biggie Small said, he was like, all the people that try to call the police on him when he was hustling trying to feed his daughter.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
I would need to find once again the motives, the factors that contributed, and see, because that person who they were could be like, nowhere near who they are now.
Right.
But I just want to go back. You said something about The Bachelor. The Bachelor.
Yeah, that show. I see.
And you were like, where they fall in love all fast.
Right.
You think there's a timeline to fall in love?
No, I don't think there's a timeline to anything except death. God determines the time that you're supposed to go in, the day and all that's already pre-recorded. So that's the simple answer. Like, no, I don't
the way you said it was like, and they fall in love all fast. Do you think it's authentic love, or you think it's authentic infatuation or lust? Or
I think it's television. I think it's television. I don't know the statistics of how long those relationships last and things of that sort, but I do know that there's stages of like growth when you're with somebody, and all of those stages are very impactful to the growth that you're gonna have together, or the growth that you're gonna have if you separate. And I think that you kind of get the sense of being able to learn the other person's need.
Yeah.
And value the things that they bring to the table, and then they value the things that you bring to the table. And you put your strengths together, and you strengthen each other even more, and then you look at each other's weaknesses and you build each other up from there. That's what I believe.
For you. Do you think that love is what makes a relationship last?
It's a good question. I think love is a piece of it. I feel that also that let me add this in. I think value, respect, and love all come in one. For me.
And that's what will make it last.
Yes. If I value you and I respect you, then I'm going to love you. That's just it. Like my core values.
Yeah.
That's just, I think by that question, I think everybody should take the time to really like, and it takes a long time to do it.
It really
As
does.
I told you, like to write down the core values of like who you are as a person. And it's always you will change. You know what I mean? Because you're going to lose stuff. Like last night I had got out the shower, and then Jessica came in the room, and I was looking around, and I was like, wow, that's my brother. And then that's my best friend Trish. And then, wow, that was my grandpa. I'm like, they're all dead. You know what I mean? So like the values that I got from those people, like they're no longer here, but I still like have them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
internally.
A part of your core.
Yeah. So like just the love I got for them, like love to me is like a very core value. That's why when somebody like does something, and you say it too consistently, like to me, I don't say like thank you. What do I say?
Oh, that's God. That's love.
That's love. You know what I mean? Because love is something that always, like one of the greatest quotes I ever heard is, the greatest gift you could give somebody is the one they don't expect. That's like a core quote to me. So like when somebody give you love, it's like they're doing something that you didn't anticipate. You know, you didn't expect it. Like just a simple thought of saying like, yo, I appreciate what you do, or thank you, or you need help. You know what I mean? Like all those things, like that means something to me. That's showing that they also value you. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think love is timeless, or do you feel as though there's people in your life who you love and you don't love anymore? Like, do you think that it can be a thing of you continually love like you maintain your love, it just changes on, or do you think that it goes away? If it was true love.
Well, that's a good question. I know, I can speak for me. I know, and I completely understand when people get married and the person says, through death do us part, right? So with me just giving you the example, all the people that left, like I completely like love them. Even when they're gone, they're alive to me.
Exactly.
So in a relationship, I'm thinking of it from the aspect of like, there's levels of stuff we went through. You know what I'm saying? Like, you was there when this person died.
Exactly.
You knew this person. Like, you was there when this person. I was there when you had this up. I was there when you had this down. I was there when you experienced this illness or this sickness, or when you went through this depression. All these things. So it's like, when you talk about it being timeless, like that love to me would like never go away. Even if you separate it, no matter what, it's still going to be love because that person was impactful doing all those things that I just talked about.
That's deep.
For me.
Yeah. I when I asked you that question, I was like, ooh, what about you, Nicole? And I was like,
that's what I was about to ask you.
Oh, the same question?
Yes.
No, I don't love them because I realized I probably never did love them. Because I'm like, I barely like you.
That's wrong.
No, because like when you think about people who you like, I can only go from a relationship thing of like when you're like, oh yeah, like I love you, and it's like I don't think I knew the weight of what love was because when God talks about love, it's unconditional. My love obviously had conditions, so for me, I realized I didn't even like them to let alone say that I still love them. So I'm not being harsh by saying that. I'm genuinely saying, my love had conditions. And true love, I don't feel as though it's conditional.
So, what do you mean by love has conditions?
My love was conditional on the way you treated me and the way that you even loved yourself.
Because you said from the beginning, I never loved you.
Yeah, so I realized it wasn't true love. So I'm going back in time, right, to where my mind was. In that moment, I'm thinking, like, I love this person. And to me, love meant like, in a sense, no boundaries, and meant it didn't matter how you treated me because it's like, I love you. Like I was imitating like this fake Christ-like love of, dude, like, you know, like curse me and I still love you.
Right.
Fool. So I realized, that's not love.
Right.
That's not health. That's not love. Let's not call that love. So in those terms, right, with what I thought love was, it was conditional. Now that I have gotten older, I think you can really push your love for your, like, when you love a person romantically, it's so different than when you love your children.
I agree. It's level set.
You learn a whole different type of unconditional love where it's like you just, when you see them, there's nothing that you wouldn't do for them. I feel like that's where that sacrificial, and I'm not saying you can't feel that in a relationship, but I really feel like you don't even, there's a untapped type of love that you tap into the moment, for me, that I had children. So yeah, I'm not being harsh, but the people who I used to love, I don't love all of them. And it's okay. And they don't have to love me. It's fine. We'll be okay. But it was also because I didn't fully love myself. So, that's what I have to give.
You said it.
Yeah. But now we know that from my husband, I don't know if that's all men, but if I had like 7 eggs that I sold out there, it's okay because my motive was for the money, for us to be in a better life. So.
And that's it for today's episode of
Beyond the Grind. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Beyond the Grind.
Let's talk about it.